What is going on, guys? In today's tutorial, this will be an overview of the Komodo quest system on the Unreal Marketplace. Going over the demo content that you can learn from, so let's go ahead and get started. So to enable the plugin, you'll want to go to Edit, Plugins, and then under Questing, enable Komodo quest system. You might have to restart the editor. If it asks you to do so, please do so. After that, you'll want to go to Settings in your content browser and click Show Engine Content. Okay, you'll see a new engine folder and you'll go to plugins and then you'll scroll down until you see Komodo Quest System. And from there, you should see a demo content folder. Once you find the demo content folder, go to the maps folder and go through each quest. Each one is in its own level and see how it works. And then once you have that, we'll go through the content. So now that you've played the mission, we'll go through the multi-step mission and see how it works. The architecture of your quest should follow the same architecture of the demo content where it has a manager, progress counters, and widgets for that kind of stuff. So the way I'm going to explain this is through following the process of the quest and code. So we'll start with the manager, an actor class that you create. It's just an empty actor. In here, we create custom events and assign logic to them using quest delegates. Quest delegates are a node that come with the plugin. In the demo content, the quest delegates all have a comment on them telling you where they're called or binded from to help you understand the flow of the logic. To access the functions that come with the quest, you'll type in get Komodo quest subsystem in any blueprint event graph, and then you'll see the Komodo quest system category. And from here, you can use all of the different nodes. I think all of the nodes are used in the demo content, so you can learn from that and just see how they're used there and then apply that to your own project. Okay, so let's go ahead and start going through the logic of how this all works. So we have a spawn pickup item, and this is called whenever the quest acceptance, whenever you click accept on the quest. But I also want to show you how the quest acceptance all ties together. So we use strings for IDs. The quest giver and the objectives, they all have a string on them. That's the name of the quest. We call that on the quest giver, and then we pass it into the quest accept widget has an expose on spawn variable. And whenever we click accept, what it does is it activates the quest. So things like get current quest, get quest active, get quest progress, that kind of stuff can be used. And then we call a quest delegate and remove the widget. The quest delegate is binded in the manager. And when we go to the manager, we see that that quest delegate is binded to a widget that comes up and says quest accepted, quest starting. So when that quest starting goes, we have a delay. And on the delay, we will call a quest delegate on the manager to spawn a pickup item. This pickup item is on a spawner that listens for a delegate or event dispatcher from the quest manager. And then on the quest manager, we also update the main progress quest or main progress of the quest and update the objective text for the quest on the HUD. And if we go look at the pickup item, which is in the stages folder, we can see that it has the spawner and the progress counter. The spawner spawns the progress counter. Okay. And then the progress or the spawner checks the quest name that we set in the editor. So that way we know that, it's on the right quest. We're not going to spawn this if the quest is not currently active. And if the quest is active, then we go ahead, we spawn the item, and on the item, we just pick it up. So that means we call a quest delegate on the manager to go the next step, and then we just destroy the actor. We don't need to do any progress counting because this is just already done. The progress counting is done in the manager for the main quest. This brings us to the spawn enemies part of the quest, where again it updates the quest progress and then calls a delegate to or event dispatcher on the spawner for the enemies. And the spawner for the enemies again listens to make sure that we're on the right quest using the editor and then spawns them. And the enemies have a progress counter whenever we overlap them with a box collider. So we do use a sub quest here to track their health. So we want to check, are there 6 enemies destroyed? So we use a sub quest to with a different ID, a different quest ID, to track, are there 6 destroyed? Yes. And if there are, then we go ahead and spawn a delegate. If there are not, we just print a string and destroy them because we haven't reached the number of deaths for the enemy required yet. Then once all enemies are dead, we go and we spawn the boss using again the same thing, increment the progress in the manager, and then we spawn the boss using the delegates. Now I am checking here just to be extra safe that our current quest progress is equal to that of the boss, which is 3. Um, And if the quest progress is 3, then we spawn the boss. This boss is similar to the enemies, he kind of just roams around, but we are using a different subquest for the boss to track his health. Now, you could just use the health variable here, but for the sake of this, I'm using the quest system. So once we overlap him 10 times, so we hit him 10 times, he will die, we'll destroy him, and we'll call a quest delegate, which triggers the final part of the quest, which is to return to the quest giver. Now, I did not put the final quest giver on a spawner. I just placed him in the level near the quest giver. So I'm using an extra check on the quest progress that says one is the quest active. Remember, we set that with the current quest. And then second is are we at the right step of the quest? And that's why in the manager we were incrementing the progress to, I think it's at 4 now. So we make sure that's at the right step. And once it is at the right step, then we call the final quest stuff. We create a widget that says quest finished, quest congratulated, whatever. And then we set the quest complete and we set the quest objective to nothing. That is the multi-step quest in an overview. I'm going to go over the race mission now since it uses data tables, so you can learn how to use data tables with this quest system. So the race is a repeatable quest, meaning we can make more than one variation of it. So we're using data tables for that. So on the quest givers in the map, you'll notice there's 2 quest givers and 2 different sets of race objectives. Those are assigned the quest name or the ID of the quest in the editor. Those quest names are then assigned the row name so that we can get the data table for the correct row. So if you wanted to add another quest, you would just add a new row name and give it the name of the quest. And right now I'm going over, the showing you that the quest name and the quest giver are the same. Same with the quest progress. The quest spawners also have the same name. So that way they only spawn on the correct quest. So now we're going to go into the actual ring race blueprint. And as you can see, there's some counters here. So we just take the current quest, we get its quest progress, and we increment it by 1, and then we update the progress. Now, after we update the progress, we're going to check, have we reached the max ring amount that we set in our data table for the quest? So in one of them, it's 3, and the other, it's 5. So if we reach 3, then it will end the. And we're also using the get quest row function to get a data table row for the corresponding quest to get things like quest description and quest name for UI. That is an overview of the Komodo quest system. If you have questions, we have a Discord for support.